Hello student, I welcome all of you to this presentation on education in Vedic period. This is my first presentation for first semester students who are pursuing BA, in which we will be studying about education in Vedic period around 1500 BC to 500 BC, when during which Vedas were composed. Points to be covered here are Introduction to Vedic period, basic features of Vedic education, aims of education, elementary education, higher education, curriculum during Vedic period, what were the teaching methods, and what type of relationship teacher-student had. Under ancient education system of India, we will study about Vedic education system and Buddhist education system. The ancient education system in India was molded and shaped more by religious values than by political and economic influences. Vedic education period extends from the date of composition of Rig Veda to the beginning of Buddhist period. It is based on four Vedas, that is, the Rig Veda, the Yajurveda, Samveda, and the Atharvaveda, along with the appendices that are the Brahmanas, Aryankas, and Samhitas as part of Vedas, and other Vedic literature like Purans and Upanishads. The word Veda has been derived from the root word Vid, which means to know. Here, Veda implies sacred spiritual knowledge. The Vedas are believed to have been directly revealed to the authors of God. So, education was basically of spiritual and religious nature. Basic features of Vedic education system: no state control on education. Ancient education system was not under the control of the state. It was totally under the control of the teacher, the guru. The state never interfered with the working of the educational institutions. All decisions respect to educational institution and education system were taken by the guru himself. It was free of cost, it was free education. The motive behind the Vedic education was propagation of knowledge. The Gurukuls run on the donation of the king and other wealthy people of the society. Beside this, there was a custom that students begged for alms and offering Guru Dakshina after completion of the education, which assisted them financially. Knowledge as a source of light. In the absence of knowledge, darkness prevails. Knowledge is the source of light which help a man to view beyond material world. Knowledge is like the third eye of man, which enable him to perceive and understand things which usually we cannot see directly. It is only through education that truth can be realized and wisdom can be attained. Education had a broad scope of education. Education during Vedic period was a lifelong process. It was not limited to formal education system. It was it emphasized on self-study. Education in Gurukuls was full of practical life experiences as well as knowledge of the scriptures. So emphasis was both on knowledge and experience. Aims of education during Vedic period: self-realization or attainment of moksha was the ultimate aim of Vedic education system. It implies to liberate oneself from worldly ties, from material world, and to be one with God, to enable one to realize the ultimate truth, that is God. Infusion of piety and religiousness. As during ancient India period, religion played an important role in one's life. So education aimed at its fusion of piety and religiousness in the minds of people. Character formation was another important aim of education. At times, it is considered even more significant than attaining knowledge. To fulfill the same, examples of great personalities were put forward, and emphasis was placed on development of moral values. Sublimation of instincts was encouraged, and brahmacharya life assisted in. character formation, all-round development of personality. Vedic education system also aimed at all-round development of personality, that is, integrated development of physical and mental potentialities of man. It emphasized on the development of human qualities like service to mankind and qualities like self-dignity, sense of justice, self-confidence should be promoted. All-round development of personality is done. Inculcation of civic and social values to make an individual understand one's responsibility towards society. Sacrifice, feeling of sacrifice should be inculcated. Sympathy for the poor and needy should be developed. Preservation and propagation of culture was another aim of Vedic education system. It is expected that after attaining education, people or students will engage themselves in self-study and pass on their culture to the coming generations. In this respect, it is believed that there are three kinds of debts to be paid by an individual: debt of God, debt of his father, and debt of his teacher, a guru, which can only be paid by studying the religious scriptures and passing it on to the coming generation. Vedic education system can be subdivided into two stages, that are elementary education and higher education. Elementary education was carried out at home. When a child was 5 years old, there was a Chaul Sanskar, also known as Vidya Aram Sanskar, and it was done on some good day. A good day was chosen for it, and on this day, goddess of knowledge Saraswati and Lord Vinayak was worshipped. After this sanskar, a child entered into education system, and this education was carried out at home itself. Mothers used to teach him pronunciation of Vedic mantras, practice in reading and writing, elementary grammar, maths was taught at home. After elementary education, for a child to enter into higher education, Upanian sanskar was observed. Upanian means to sit, to come near the Guru. The child was called Dvij after this sacrament, which means twice born. It was believed that through this sacrament a child achieved a spiritual self. So he was called twice born, and this sacrament was observed at different age level for different worlds or different castes. For example, Brahmins used to enter into Paniyan Sanskar at the age of 8 years, a Kshatriya child at the age of 10 years, and Vaishya at the age of 12 years. After the Upnayan Sanskar was observed, a child entered the Gurukul. Gurukuls were residential educational institutions positioned in some peaceful place away from the noise and crowd. There the students used to live along with their gurus and perform all the household duties apart from their studies. The process of education in Gurukul was usually comprehension, meditation, and memorization. These were the three stages through which education was continued. And at the end of their studies, Samavartan Samaroh was held, which was like the modern day convocation program in which gurus used to instruct the students for their future life, for their life in future. Though overall the education on the whole was free of cost, but there was a practice of offering Guru Dakshina at the completion of the studies, which was sometimes in the form of money, sometimes in the form of labor, or something else which the Guru may desire. We are all aware of Guru Dronachar asking Eklavya to offer him his thumb as Guru Dakshina. Beside Gurukuls, which are the most popular educational institutions of Vedic education system, there were other educational institutions as well. There were Tolls, which was run by one teacher in which Sanskrit was taught, Charan, which was also run by a teacher, in which Vedangas were taught. Ghatika, it had many teachers. Religion and philosophy was taught in Ghatika. Parishods were run by 10 teachers in which different types of subjects were taught. There was Vidyapeeth, which was run by many teachers in which grammar, logic was taught, and there were Vishvidyalayas, which are modern days university for higher education in which commerce, medicine, sculpture, etc. were taught. It was run by many teachers. Diverse type of teachers were present in Vishwavidyalaya. Coming to the nature of curriculum followed during Vedic education period. During Vedic education period, both worldly and otherworldly, that is spiritual curriculum was followed. According to Katho Upanishad, there were two forms of curriculum. Apara, which is worldly education in which subjects like history, economics, geography, science, geology, logic, etc. were taught. These subjects were taught to make a student skilled in worldly affairs. The other form of curriculum was para, that means which means otherworldly or spiritual education, in which religious scriptures like four Vedas, Purans, and Upanishads were taught, as the ultimate aim of education was self-realization, which was only possible uh, through by realizing religious and spiritual values. So this type of curriculum was included in Vedic education period. Though there were so many subjects illustrated in the curriculum during Vedic education period, all students were not to study all of them. They were made to choose subjects according to their caste and make themselves skilled in it. For instance, the Brahmins class, the children of Brahmin class were made skilled in language, grammar, and kalp and jyotish, whereas a Kshatriya child was taught archery, horsemanship, warfare, art, etc. in accordance with their word. Vaishya child was made adept in agriculture and trade. Teaching methods in Vedic education system. Basically, methods of teaching in Vedic education system was oral. As the Vedic mantras were considered sacred mantras, they were to be learnt by heart and memorized by the students with the same correct pronunciation like that of the gurus. Emphasis was laid on correct pronunciation. Repetitions of the mantras were done so that the students may memorize them by heart. Apart from this, question answer technique was also employed. Questions were asked to judge and understand students and to enhance the students' knowledge on the subject. Discussion was also carried out many a times, and monitorial system was very much prevalent during Vedic education period in education system, when the gurus were usually out or not available. The bright students of the Gurukuls were given the responsibility of teaching the students. This not only trained the students but also made them responsible beings. In Gurukuls, the student was required to obtain education up to the age of 24 years, after which he was expected to enter Grihastha life or domestic life. Students were divided into four categories. Those obtaining education for 12 years who studied one Veda was called a Snatak or graduate. Student who studied for 24 years and studied two Vedas was called a Vasu. A student who studied for 36 years and was expert of three Vedas was considered as a Rudra, and a person or a student who had studied four Vedas and is the master of four Vedas was considered as Aditya. Role of a teacher. Teacher was called a guru. The word guru consists of two words, gu and ru. The word gu indicates darkness and ru means controller. It means to avoid darkness or ignorance. Guru was considered greatest treasure of knowledge. So Guru, the teacher, enjoyed a very respectable position in society and had all the qualities of head and heart. He was a symbol of all the good ideals, traditions, and code of behavior of the society. Education was teacher centered, and violation of Guru's instruction was regarded as a sin, and the students were punished severely for violating it. Teacher-pupil relationship in Vedic education system, as Professor Alteker says, the relationship between a teacher and the student was a direct one. It did not function through the institution. It was not formal relationship as we have in modern education system. The guru was like a spiritual father to his students, and students were responsible to do all the chores of the Gurukul and to feed the gurus through ads. Thus we see that in Vedic era, education had a prominent place in society. It was considered as pious and important for society. A great importance was attached to Vedas in the education system. Self-study and Swadhyaya were considered more important during this period. Thank you.